Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Driving with Dan. Today is the 11th of April, and this is episode 21. So, I've changed the camera, and you can now see the list as well, so there we are. You can see, probably not actually, there's only 3 things on here, so this will be probably quite a short episode. And I'm still experimenting with angles, so last time you were down here, down there, usually you're up here. We're going to try down here and see how this works. I think you're not going to fall over. Should be fairly stable, so we're going to give it a try. Yes, so in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the new Aston Martin Vantage, as we have finally seen some footage on it. Also, a YouTuber from America who just bought a limo, and a current investment in the UK that we can look into, really. Okay. Right, now I have to adjust my mirror, it's quite high. Right. Yes, as you can probably see, it's quite a grey day outside today. But there we are. It's not raining, so that's a win. Yes, so the first topic is the Aston Martin Vantage, and this is the new car. It's been 11 years since the previous one, and I think it was some point midway through last year when they actually revealed pictures and started telling us more about the specification of the car. But the whole thing has been under embargo, which means that journalists haven't been able to release about the car, really, even though they drove it months ago. Until now, where the embargo has been lifted, and they can now talk about the car. And are the reviews good? So the car is 100% aluminium. It shares a lot of components with Mercedes, and actually, in particular, the AMG GT. So, from the start, it's quite a good recipe. It's making 500 brake horsepower, so 500 foot-pounds of torque or something. It's got the same V8 as the DB11, which is turbocharged. Also like the AMG. You have moved. Right, that's something to note. But I don't know what to say, really. Journalists like it. Rivals have been comparing it against the 911, which I think is just sort of the halo car, really. So there we are. You should be able to see a bit more now. You know, you have indeed fallen over. Right, I'm going to sort that out. Bear with me 1 second. So yeah, no, the everything's been lifted and it's all well and good. Right, I'm going to pull over here and sort you out. Lovely. There we are. Right, let's move you up here. Back to normal. There we are. Right, you're back to normal now. Let's give that a shot again. That angle, useless. Right, there's loads of cars coming. Yeah, so where were we? It's been compared to the 911, which I think is sort of the ultimate one to be compared against, really. So you can't ask for more, I guess. And actually, some people said it's better than the 911 in some ways. So it's a bit wider than 911, but the wheelbase is about the same. Weight is, I think, pretty much the same, but the big thing about the Vantage is its front engine, compared to 911 being rear. So, all the journalists have been saying that actually it's a very well-balanced car with a 50-50 weight distribution, and the main, I think, focus has been that the weight has actually been very much centralised around the cockpit. Another key feature of it is the suspension. Apparently that is just fantastic. So yeah, if anybody does have an Aston Martin Vantage V8 that they wouldn't mind lending to me, I would happily like to drive it. No, not going to happen. But yeah, no, it does sound very, very interesting. And of course, I saw one, what was that, a few months ago now, in episode 10 point something, where I did a filler episode anyway. I drove past it and I described it in view for about the half a second that I saw it. Yeah, so I like it. I don't think I'm that sold on the looks. I think I don't know what it is. I think it's a bit too fussy. with its looks. There's too much going on, but you know, I don't know much about fashion. If you could see, I am wearing my Driving with Dan t-shirt again. So yeah, I don't know much about fashion, I can hardly talk. But it's an Aston Martin, it's good, yeah, it shares a lot of components with Mercedes, so it should be more reliable. And that's a good thing. I think previously it had Volvo, it had Ford, it had everything in it really. So it's a bit more focused. But I don't know, why would you go for the Aston Martin over the AMG GT is the big question. Because they are essentially the same car, apart from suspension. And I would certainly pick the Aston Martin, just for the name alone. But I don't know, it doesn't seem to have that much to offer on paper. But then again, if the driving experience is what everyone has said, it's very focused and very fantastic. So maybe I should like it more. Yeah, so pretty much that's the Aston Martin. Everyone has done a video on it essentially, so go on YouTube and it'll be there. Yeah, so go give it a watch if you're interested in the Aston Martin Vantage. And it's also shot at Portimao, so you also get some track footage, which is, I love Portimao, what a track. Yeah, so if you're interested, go and give it a try. Right, so the next topic is a video from YouTuber Cletus McFarland. And he's an American YouTuber and very, very funny. Very much into drag racing as well. But he just bought a limo. And not just any limo, it's the standard limo, it's a Lincoln town car. But it's massive is what it is. It is absolutely huge. And everything like under the bonnet is completely standard, he hasn't changed anything. And then he decided to take it drag racing, and I think this is the first time I've ever seen a limo go drag racing. Especially a limo of its size. And as you would expect, it's not fast. I think it got about a 23-second quarter mile. But there we are. And I think top speed was about 58 in a quarter mile. So it's not even, whatever, a 25 second 0 to 60. It's quite a funny video, go and give it a watch. I liked it quite a lot. Right, yes. Oh my god, we're on the last topic already. So, the last topic is a current investment. So I seem to be looking quite a lot on an Auto Trader and just going, what cars are at the moment which are affordable, interesting, and can go up in value? And I think the one at the moment, which has been there for a while, the Discovery 1, so the original Discovery, I think people have started to notice that they're actually quite a solid car underneath, as long as you do buy a solid example. So a lot of people have been looking at them, I think, and I've always liked the Discovery, but it's not exactly a pretty car. It is a bit of a parts bin special, but I've always liked it. But I saw one on Auto Trader that was spotless, absolutely spotless, not at all any rust, which is incredible considering it was a 1995 car. Not at all any rust, and I think, I can't remember how many miles, I want to say it was 100,000 miles, which again, incredible considering its condition. And it was £2,500, and I get it, that's quite a lot, but considering what else you can get for £2,500, I thought that was not too bad, considering it is a very capable car. And then I noticed that the big problem with it is it's diesel. And everyone at the moment is all a bit scared of diesel because they don't know about the future of it and how strong that future will be. But then I thought, well, isn't the whole point of Discovery is that it's to be very versatile, you can use it anywhere and easy to maintain, as it's just so simple. And then I was like, well, if anyone's scared of the diesel, but they like the Discovery, well, surely it's going to be a future classic no matter what. So then couldn't you just change it for a petrol engine or buy the V8? Because yes, they did do a I think it was a 4.2 or maybe the 4 litre V8. No, it'd be the 4.2, same from the Jaguar XK. Or Rover V8 anyway. It'd be, yeah, 4.2. No, it'd be Ford or Rover, either one. So yeah, you could get a V8 petrol, so that would be surely going to appreciate. Or you buy a diesel and then you run it until diesel is no longer viable and it just becomes way too expensive, that you put an electric motor in it. And then an electric Discovery 1 isn't something you will see very often, so that must be worth a bit, isn't it? I don't know. I think it's something to think about, and I do like a Discovery 1, so I think, and it's at a price range that is doable, so there we are. Future Classic? Probably. Because I mean, like, what's it underneath? It's a Range Rover Classic underneath. Parts are everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and you can pick up ones for only a few £100. So if your one did break, you could then just go to a scrapyard. There's parts there. So I would say it's quite a good investment at the moment, because it's going to be dirt cheap to run. Really, you're going to be changing a lot, but the parts are going to be so cheap to change it with that it shouldn't be too bad. I think the big thing is it's diesel, so that's going to harm its cost. But there we are. I think that should be fine. Yes, right. Oh, just passed a Discovery 2 there. So again, that's another one. That's the thing. I think the Discovery 1, Discovery 2 shared a lot of parts, so they're going to be around for a lot of time. But maybe that's the other thing harming it, is they are still around. So there's a lot of examples. They aren't going to go up that much until they do become rare and people start missing them. But it's something to think about. I'm very, very interested in it. I've always liked them, so maybe it could be the next car in Driving with Dan. Apart from finding insurance for me on a Discovery might be quite expensive. But then again, I was looking at Suzuki Cappuccino, which I mentioned in an earlier episode. Another car which I think will appreciate, and that's petrol. And there's like a tiny engine, so there should be low tax and everything. Yes, anyway, I've come to the end of the video. I've got nothing else to talk about. That other angle, useless, never doing it again. But maybe the one down on the floor, what I did in the last episode. Sorry. I'm going to try that one again at some point, I reckon. Right, yes, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.